TRT World's editor-at-large, Craig Copetas, is here in the studio. Great to see you, Craig. Look, there's so much to talk about in terms of the economic fallout, but we've got to start with this latest line that's being reported that Saud al-Qahtani, in a Skype connection between Saudi Arabia and the consulate, was exchanging insults with Jamal Khashoggi and then ordered his disposal. The point here really is that how much can we believe that comes out from unnamed sources? Because it's been 3 weeks. He said, they said, we said, this happened, that happened.
With Qahtani, let's go to his Twitter feed. What he said in late July on Twitter, vis-a-vis his bosses, quote, "Do you think I make decisions without guidance? I am an employee and faithful executor of my lord the king and my lord the faithful crown prince." These guys don't get up in the morning unless they're ordered to. And any one of us, you included, who has done reporting, hard time on the ground in the kingdom, knows that.
So the other issue that possibly lends more credibility to this particular line is two different sources saying that President Erdogan has this recording of those insults being exchanged and then the command coming from al-Qahtani about what to do with Khashoggi. But it seems as if the Saudis only give this information once they have no other option.
Yeah, when they're pushed into the corner. That's how it has always been in Saudi Arabia. Look, there is an inconvenient truth about Saudi Arabia, and that is that Saudi Arabia, is a medieval monarchy that is completely ill-equipped to enter the 21st century. And for the past 60, 70 years, Western businesses, Western leaders have been going and feeding at the Saudi oil trough. They needed to. They needed the oil. Saudi Arabia doesn't produce anything the world wants outside of petrochemicals. We need those things. Mohammed bin Salman, the young crown prince, he wanted to reinvigorate the kingdom. It is an impossibility. His IPO, Aramco IPO, that went out the window. Why, Adnan? Why? Because the Saudi royal family would not allow the IPO to comply with the due diligence on the Western markets, because Aramco is the Saudi royal family's piggy bank. Now, you're looking at Saudi Vision 2030. They have over 12% unemployment there. They have to put 1.2 million jobs in place for young people by 2022. Otherwise, the place might cave in. They needed Western help for that. They're not getting it now.
Does this event inside the consulate, now called a murder by the Saudi foreign minister, does it suggest that Mohammed bin Salman is not a reliable ally? Because if he can make such a massive miscalculation about this kind of event, what does it say about his view of his position in the world and the way he relates to other countries and their leaders?
That's a very good question, and it's a really tough question. And it depends, sorry to do a Bill Clinton on you, depends on your definition of realpolitik.
Yeah.
As far as Western leaders are concerned, someone like President Erdogan is completely capable with dealing with any world leader. The heads of corporations are completely capable of dealing with any yuts they want to leave in charge of Saudi Arabia because the financial stakes are too high. And what's been going on here is that they've had to slap the Saudis now because they let this medieval nonsense that's been going on in the kingdom for centuries, butchery, hanging, torture, go outside its borders, and they let it happen in the worst place they could have let it happen, here in Istanbul. And so the question, back to the realpolitik, the question is, can Donald Trump, can President Erdogan deal with the crown princeling? Well, of course they can. You know, the question really is, do they want to? Are they going to push the Saudis to get rid of this guy? Because he certainly doesn't do anything for the Saudi brand on the global stage. And that's what the Crown Prince has been doing for the past 2 years. He's been trying to rebrand Saudi Arabia. You know, he hasn't done a very good job of it.
What do you think Mike Pompeo and Steve Mnuchin are saying in private when they're flying to Saudi Arabia in terms of trying to manage this situation?
Has Khashoggi fatigue set in yet? That's what they're doing.
In other words, you think that they're helping Riyadh to cover as much up as possible?
Oh, they wouldn't put it that way. They're waiting. What they're saying, in fact, I know this. I've spoken to folks in Washington, politicians. This has no bearing whatsoever on the midterm elections that are coming up.
No, absolutely.
And that's all they care about. They don't even know what a Khashoggi is. We know about it. We're in the region. You know, a lot of people know about it, but the American electorate could care less.
Sure. Okay, so what about the economic implications? Will it just blow over? And as you say, the world needs Saudi Arabia. Much of the world needs its oil. And this economic conference is just going to be a blip.
Well,
okay, Christine Lagarde's not there. President of the World Bank's not there. It doesn't make any difference.
Well, let me ask you a question. How much money do you want to spend putting gasoline in your car's fuel tank? You want to keep it low, or do you want to let it go up? If you want to keep it low, you let this blow over. If you want to make a big deal out of it, well, you might want to risk getting higher oil prices. You might. Everyone wants this to boil over, and it's a big deal. Christine Lagarde's not going. All the heads of CEOs of these companies aren't going to the conference. And then that's baloney. All their regional representatives are at that conference. That conference is going to be filled. It's just not going to be filled with the marquee names that we can get a TRT camera in and go, oh, look who's coming in now. It's the head of this oil company or that bank. But their representatives are there. So in that respect, it's a success for Saudi Arabia. Or at least that's how they're spinning it to themselves.
Craig, always appreciated. Thank you very much indeed. Craig Copetas, our editor at large.